Hi, Kimberly Olson here, and as you can see, I'm fresh from the shower. It's nighttime. I'm ready for bed, and I just had the idea to cut this video. We had an incredible call tonight with Empower Network, very powerful, soul-penetrating call. Just really got to me and got me thinking. So even though I'm in my PJs, and it even gets chilly here in Arizona, so that's why I'm nice in my nice warm fuzzy jammies. But I wanted to cut this video because I needed to share some information that's been on my mind. It's actually been on my mind even before the call, but I knew after listening tonight that I needed to share the information that I've been thinking about for a while. And what is that? See, what I want to share with you is a little bit more about our past and where my husband Ron and I have come from, and why we've chosen the path we've chosen, the businesses we've chosen, what we've done, and just a little more about us and our journey, if you will. And so uh, I get emails and I get Facebook messages all the time of people that have gotten started with us in Empower Network, and it's kind of funny because they'll get started and they'll be blogging along for a couple weeks, even sometimes it's a few days, sometimes it's a few weeks, and all of a sudden you get this email that says, "Man, I've been blogging and nothing's happening. What's the deal? What am I doing wrong?" That's usually the thing that everyone says is, "What am I doing wrong?" You know what? You're not doing anything wrong. You're just not being patient. You're not doing maybe all the things you need to do. There's 8 core steps, and what we usually find is, and I can tell, I can usually tell which step or steps they're cutting out, and one of the big ones is probably personal development. Um, well, we've talked about that before, and I'll probably talk more about that again in the future. But there's 8 steps for a reason. You can't leave out a step and not. I mean, you just won't find the success. You might find some, but you're not going to find all the success that you're looking for, and it's not as lasting if you don't follow those steps. That's kind of actually a little off topic of what I wanted. But see, people will see us. They'll see us posting. We get the emails. We made this much money. We made that much money. We have $1,000 day here. Different amounts of dollars of days, and they think, wow, they're so lucky. Oh my gosh, they're so lucky. But you know what? People didn't always say, oh, they're so lucky. It wasn't always days where, and it's still not always days where we feel lucky. Some say luck is preparedness meets opportunity, which is also some truth to that, but you do have to be prepared for you really do have to be prepared for the opportunity. Um, and there's also part of the issue of success comes from the story that people don't see behind the scenes. See, when people didn't think that we were so lucky is probably the times when we lived in a mouse-infested house in Pocatello, Idaho. It was not a pretty time in our lives, and there was a lot of things that were difficult. There was the times when, you know, we'd shop late at night in the grocery stores because we didn't want people we knew seeing us run our food stamp card. And there's reasons, there's some pride there, but there's also, we've always been involved in business and network marketing. And so at the time when we were having some of these troubles, we were, leaders in a local market in a business that we were in. And, how could we show that we weren't making a huge income that is kind of portrayed in most companies, and the thing that's sad is in most network marketing companies is most people are not successful, either because they haven't waited it out long enough, or and that's part of the problem with most network marketing companies is they teach you to wait it out 2 to 4 years, which usually turns into some for 7 to 10 years, but most people burn out before then. But see, you know, that's the thing is most people just don't have patience to cut it in any industry. But that's where again the personal development comes in. But going through those difficult times, we were doing things for income that most people we had to think outside the box. We always felt like uh, we didn't want to get a traditional job, although I will admit there was a time there that I did get a job. I worked very early in the morning, and it was still difficult to get up and leave my babies. Even though I knew my husband was an awesome dad and he was going to be taking care of them, and we also took care of my grandpa, and so he, even though he was ailing, he helped out with the kids too, and they were in very good hands. But as a mom, it rips your heart out to leave those babies, and especially if they were sick. It's so hard. So I sympathize with moms that have to go to work. It's difficult. It's not an easy thing to do, and it really does tear at your heartstrings to leave those babies. And I only did it a short time because I couldn't do it. Um, just wasn't in me, and I'm also just a terrible employee. I'll just say that. I had a boss tell me once that I needed to own my own business because I was a terrible employee, and she was right. So that's all good. But though I took a job. That's hard to say. I took a job. But something else that we did for a really long time was donate plasma. Um, twice a week, my husband and I would go donate plasma for our money. And I mean, there's a couple benefits to that if you're able to do it. One is that you're doing a service to other people. Plasma is a needed uh, product to help save lives, so you have that benefit that you're doing that. We also used that time. They play movies while you're donating plasma, but most of the time we never watched the movies. That was our personal development time. We read books. We would You could only have, like, at the time, one earpiece in. I don't know if the rules are still the same, because you needed to hear what they were saying. But we'd have an earpiece in and listen. That could be our time to listen to the audio that we needed to listen for the day. That's something that we've always done, is taken personal development very seriously. And the reason being is because, with personal development, uh, they say, what is it about chopping the tree down? If you had 100 people and they were all told that to be successful, to be a millionaire, all they had to do was chop down a tree. 98% of those people, 98 out of 100, are going to just start chopping away at that tree and wielding away and just chopping and chopping and chopping. And they're going to miss the boat because they're going to wear out. But two of those people are going to sharpen their axe first. That's personal development. And 98 of those people, a lot of those people are going to make fun of the people taking the time to sharpen their axe. But when those people that sharpen their axe those two people, they start chopping down their trees, their blows will be much more effective with less strength. And it's going to happen so easily for them that actually some people will give up. Some people will quit just because they can see, oh, well, how come it's so easy for them? Like the people say to us now, oh, you're just so lucky. Well, it wasn't always that way. We had to sharpen our axe. We still sharpen our axe. There's, you never stop learning. There's always somebody or something to benefit from and to learn from. You never stop. Now, we're one of the big things that we do in our business now is to blog every day. And so that's what people will say, well, I've been blogging and nothing's happening. Let me share with you the secret of, it kind of goes along the line of compound interest. And, I got this from The Slight Edge. So if you're looking for a good book to read, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson is a great book. But you think about the watered hyacinth. And you can see a beautiful pond one day, and there's nothing on it that you can visibly see. On day one of the water hyacinth's life, you don't see anything. Same with your blog. At first, nobody sees your blog. Nobody sees the penetration or the impact that blog is going to make. Day 10, still not really much going on. You might start seeing a little bit of something floating on the surface. Day 15, you're looking at a little patch on the pond, but it's mostly water still. You look at, day 20, day 25, little bigger patch of hyacinth, but still mostly water. You work up clear to day, we're talking about a 30-day period. You look at day 29, and still Only half of that pond is covered with hyacinth. Still, half is water. But day 30, the entire pond covered in water hyacinth, and you see no pond. It's a complete sea of green. So that's kind of how your blog works. Now, I'm not saying in 30 days, all of a sudden you're going to be wealthy and everybody's going to know you and know who your blog is, because that really, there's other factors to consider. Some of us have to learn to find out who our audience is, who our avatar is. Some of us need some more training. Some of us need, to really delve into getting on that Empower Hour every week, getting on the 15K Formula webinars every week. They need that extra boost. Need to work a little bit more on how to optimize your blog posts so that they're seen, how to create some backlinks to your blog posts so that you're visible, so that you're seen. Those are the things, that you work on that take time. But then, when the magic happens, when your day 30 comes, or day 45, or day 180, all of a sudden you're going to feel lucky. But see, you're lucky because all of a sudden it happens. But all that time and all the struggle, if you will, that you go through to get to your day of luck, that's your story. And that's what you share with people. Things like going from a mouse house in Pocatello, Idaho, to a 4,000 square foot house in Arizona with a pool in the backyard, an amazing, neighborhood that we live in, and, having luxuries that we never had before. Yes, it's lucky. It's lucky that we worked that we did the way we did. It's lucky that we looked for the opportunities we did. It's lucky that we paid the sacrifices we paid. It's lucky that, we failed in several businesses to where we kept looking for the right mentors and the right leaders. It's lucky that we found David Wood. It's lucky that we followed him. And it's lucky we were in that hotel room in Orlando, Florida, when this company launched. Yeah, it was lucky. But we haven't had some of the wildly successful successes that a lot of the people that were in that room had that night. But have we failed? No. We've learned through this whole process. Have things happen to us even now? Things that are difficult, things that are hard, things that happen in business? Sure. We had some great team members, and we based our income off of what those team members were doing. Those team members ended up signing their business name up under a different person within the company, and our income dropped overnight. It was a difficult pill to swallow. It was a hard thing to have happen, but it happens. It happens in business. And we learned a lesson. Never base our income off of somebody else's efforts. You can only count on what you're doing and what you're bringing in, and we had to learn new skill sets to compensate for that. And things are on the upswing, things are looking up. But those are the things people don't see. Those are the stories that they don't hear. And so, for all my team out there and all the people that I work with, and they're getting that frustration, they're thinking, gosh, it's working for them and it's working for everybody else. Why isn't it working for me? It is working for you. And just like that water hyacinth, you don't see what's going on behind the scenes for really, sometimes a long time. It really depends on you and how you're sharpening that axe. Because see, the thing is, the more you listen to, the more trainings you're on, the more you get better. You get better at blogging. You get better, for some of you, this is your first experience with blogging. This is your first experience with online marketing. My husband and I have been marketing for years. We have that as our background. It hasn't always been online. It's something we've studied and looked into, but to actually take the action for the things we had studied, that took time. It took time for us to get brave enough to do that. And I commend all of you for doing this. But you have to understand that a doctor doesn't become a doctor in 30 days. A doctor becomes a doctor in 7 years. Now some go faster. Some can go through the lessons faster. They can get better faster. Very few do. Now I'm not saying it's going to take you 7 years, but what if it did? What else are you going to do? What are your options? So I encourage you, sharpen your axe. Get better. Get better every day at doing what you know you need to do. The 8 steps, if it's in Empower Network, you'll get better doing those 8 steps. There's only 8 of them. It's not like it's that difficult. And one of them you do one time and never really think about again. So, get good at doing 8 things. 7, really. Just get good at that. Do it over and over and over again, and you'll see the power of compounding in your life. And you'll be lucky too. So, with that, have a good night. I'm going to catch some shut-eye here shortly, get this post out, and we'll catch you on the next video. Have a great night.